I was always really interested, but it always seemed like you'd hear them described or written about in books, and I'm like, I've never seen pictures of these little guys.
Yeah.
And I think that their smallness was overstated.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like one of those things that white people just made up.
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Well, doing it again. I'm gonna have a good attitude this week.
Yeah. Woo-wee!
Yeah. A lot of times I'm like, oh gosh, oh boys, there are so many wonderful podcasts yet to be made, and I'm gonna make one of them.
We're gonna make one. We're gonna come up. We're gonna we got a big bag of like penny candy here, and we're just gonna shake it up, and whatever we reach in there, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be delicious. It might be one of those like fruit flavored Tootsie Rolls.
Oh yeah. What's your favorite of those?
I think the banana one.
The banana. I like any of the citrusy ones, but I think I like the lime one the best. But they put so many vanilla ones in there.
Oh, the vanilla.
And
yeah.
I never want them until I have it in my mouth, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Now,
it's not exciting.
It's unusual that we start an episode this way, but I have to say right away that we got some email, some feedback about our last episode. And I just have to we're going to have to make a correction and an apology. The correction is, yes, I can't believe I didn't think of it when we were talking about Prince and him being like Brian Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, did Prince ever make a song for a movie, like a theme song for something without being asked? And of course, Prince did make an entire soundtrack for Batman without being asked.
Oh, they didn't even ask him?
Well, they asked him to contribute. They wanted to have a Prince song in the movie because he was on Warner Records, and he wrote an entire album of songs about Batman. That's why there's so many Prince songs in that movie. He made a whole album. So Danny Elfman had to be like, well, I guess they're putting out 2 Batman records. I hope that mine, the guy from Oingo Boingo, I hope mine sells as many as Prince's.
Yeah, Danny.
I mean, let's be honest. The history has proven Danny Elfman the victor in that particular situation. I mean, that Batman score is iconic.
That is true.
No one is listening to Bat Dance.
I went back and listened to Bat Dance right after Prince died, but yeah.
You were like, we gotta pour one out for our homie, Prince Rogers Nilsson. That's his name, right?
Nelson. Did you say Nielsen?
Well, he's got that dollar in the mail. He's part of the Nielsen family now.
They keep doing it to me. And it's $5, and I've taken it like 5 or 6 times. I've never filled out the form.
It's $5 now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got one a couple of years ago.
I would just throw them away, but I found that out. Like, I've probably thrown a few $5 bills into the garbage before I figured out the trick.
This is just a recent change that they're doing 5s, because it's up until, I think 2 years ago was the last time I got one, and it was just a $1 bill. Can you imagine if you were the mailman? Wouldn't you just steal everything that says it's from Nielsen?
If I were the mailman, I'd be stealing a whole lot of stuff, not just stuff in the Nielsen envelope.
What do you think of
a birthday card, eh?
What do you think like the average haul in one mail truck is?
Not counting if you're getting into some check forging.
You aren't gonna get too far doing that. that's when you get greedy. You think like you're in too deep with the sharks, and you got to make one big score.
Yeah, and also one of the worst getaway vehicles ever. I mean,
true.
You've got to be really crafty because you're not getting anywhere fast in a mail truck, and it doesn't have a door. And
the seat's on the wrong side, so you can't even lean out the window to shoot at the pigs.
Yeah.
I mean the police.
Oh! I thought you were talking about the demon pigs that follow me everywhere.
The pigs in space. That's my favorite recurring bit from the Muppet Show. Yes. So that's our official redaction of the week, and then I need to make a personal apology to you because I was so obsessed with looking something up that I completely ignored you trying to get a riff going about the Monster Mash being a sex orgy.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically, I went back and listened, and you said, do you think that the monsters all have real handsome penises? And I wish that I'd done something with that.
Well, apology accepted. Hindsight on these is always 20/20. There's always stuff left on the table, and I'll try to do better to make a better podcast with you as well. I don't have a specific example, but there have definitely been many times I've stepped on your bits in favor of my own shittier ones.
Now, let's get into it. Do the monsters have handsome penises?
Well, they have monstrous faces, so the handsomeness had to go somewhere. It's probably cute patoots or handsome hogs, one or the other.
This is, how do I put this delicately? What in your personal life leads you to believe that handsome up top
you don't know that old thing?
Yeah,
you see you see a badly disfigured face, and you just know like that there's beautiful genitalia hanging out below it.
You know what? I'll share a personal experience of my own. I had a friend in high school, and when you're a kid, in high school, you get into drawing penises on things as a joke.
Yeah.
You draw a penis, and then when the teacher puts the map up in class, and then on the chalkboard, somebody drew a dick and balls. When my friend did that one time, and the teacher put up the thing, and it was like, wait, what? That's how you draw a penis? He's like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, it looks just like penises look like that.
And then we had like a gym class where we had to shower, and we are like, that's why you draw it like that. That's why we didn't recognize it, huh? Okay. Him.
Like a penis.
Not the most handsome face either.
No.
So.
The way you're haltingly talking about it, I'm guessing he wasn't drawing a very pretty penis.
Yeah. Well, and that boy's name was me.
Man.
And that young man grew up to be Walton Goggins. Surprise. Oh. Yeah, I'm more than anything what's weighing on my heart is like, wow, what does a handsome penis look like? Like, I'm
it's
imagining
got a square jaw.
I'm imagining
maybe a
that
cleft
it's
in its chin.
Patrick Swayze's hair.
It's pronounced cheekbones. A Roman nose.
A Roman nose. People
full
have said,
pouty lips.
Yes, I mean it's funny. This is exactly how people have always described my penis. So, I mean, I guess if you say so, it's handsome. People always complimenting its Roman nose, symmetrical facial features.
one frustration with a penis that I have is they call it the head of the penis, and it looks, some people call it a one-eyed monster. I've always pictured the hole as being its mouth, and it forcefully vomits urine, but I just wish it had more facial features. I guess I could draw them on there for myself, but
yeah,
I do want to make him like a little guy. I'm calling it a him and not an it. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Anthropomorphize or it might not be, since it's a part of something that is alive, but I want genitalia. Like, I ascribe personality traits to them.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought of the hole on the end of the penis as the mouth of the penis as well, and I've gone so far as to sometimes do like a little like me 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 me.
Oh
thing
yeah,
with it,
yeah, it's a puppet.
Just make it go me 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 me.
It's Beaker.
But I've never
Bunsen Honeydew.
thought about. He looks more like Bunsen Honeydew than I do.
That's yeah. So you're Beaker then?
Bunsen Honeydew is kind of the penis of the Muppets. But the real question is, who are the Muppets Balls? I would say Sweetums and Mr. Snuffleupagus.
You got some hairy balls, my friend. It depends on whose balls we're talking about, because if you're an older sort, salt and pepper, I'd probably go Statler and Waldorf. They're sitting right next to each other in a little pouch already.
God damn it! How have we gone this long without calling our penis and balls Bunsen Honeydew and Statler and Waldorf?
Oh. I mean, I called mine. I call it Beaker because of the shock of red hair and the surprise on its face every time it sees me.
And I refer to mine as Pinocchio because he's full of lies. No, I will say that I did once, as a joke, I thought it would be funny to, on like a second date where I was pretty sure that I was gonna have sex with a lady, I put some temporary tattoos on my penis.
Cool stuff though, right?
Oh, yeah, very cool.
Like
it was
barbed wire.
It was actually a lightning font. On one side it said rock and roll. And then on the other side it had, do you remember Paul Frank? It was like a brand, kind of like a...
So like Lisa Frank's younger brother?
Well, it was kind of like an American Hello Kitty that they tried to make be a thing. They sold it at Target for a while. Paul Frank, he had a little monkey named, I think the monkey's name was Julius. It was like, that was the character. It's like a little monkey, like kind of like a sock monkey.
Okay.
It was him with an electric guitar. And then on the other side of my penis, like a jumbo jet, it said rock and roll. Like a jumbo jet. I just wanted to
Did you get to take it out and show it off? Because that would be the worst indignity, is after you get tats, even fake tats on your dick, and then nobody wants to see it.
Yeah, but those don't last. By the time that magic moment arrived, it was just like peeling off like dead skin.
That's what if I were your lady friend there, I'd.
Oh, I didn't say we were friends.
Oh, okay.
And we certainly were not after that.
Yeah. Because you would think that the friction of that act would definitely de-temporary tattoo you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, you think tattoos are sexy, huh? How would you like to have a bunch of flakes of a pretend one inside your vagina?
Yeah. It's like somebody's been doing scratch-off tickets in here.
Oh, yeah, they've been holding up the line at the Speedway, just scratching those tickets.
I'm compulsive here. I got to scratch. You ever see the people who like they've got keychains that are scratch-off scratchers? It's just like a weird plastic thing, but sometimes you'll see them on people's keychains, and you know, like, oh, you've got a problem.
And wait, does it scratch like all in one swoop?
No.
Then what? Like what?
It's
how
like,
is it any better than a coin?
I can't hold on to money. I spent all my money getting the tickets. Now what do I scratch with?
Penny to scratch the things off the tickets. I've worn my nails down to the bone.
Yeah. No, they're not needed.
They're
But
just
I have seen people with them.
Rubbing
I know that
their
they're a thing.
incisors vigorously, kidnapping a beaver to use its regrowing teeth so that they never have to worry about it anymore. Here's my first idea for a podcast this week. This is actually very very germane to what we were just saying. This is an idea where we would do a horoscope podcast, but specifically for gambling addicts. So we would give every sign's horoscope for the week, but it would be in the form of our picks for sports gambling.
Okay.
So we'd be like Aries, well, right now, Jupiter is your high sign and the moon is your low sign. I don't know anything. I know lots about. Listen, if this is one we pick, I want to say I'm an expert. So if you haven't heard those terms, well, maybe you're not as smart as I am when it comes to the moon and the stars.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're going to want to pick the Vikings to win this weekend. They've been on a hot streak right now, and I think they're, coming up against the Patriots.
Also, key, Aries is the Ram. Don't bet on the Rams, but Vikings have hats with horns like a ram.
Like a bull, like a ram.
So don't bet on the Rams. Do bet on the Ram-mans.
Yeah.
And is it always going to be sports betting, or is there going to be times that we give like what casino or what specific the roulette table 17?
Oh yeah, I guess we could put out. Listen, if this gets popular enough, we'll just do like Joe Rogan. We'll record every day.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, okay, go to the slot machines. Now, start walking down that 2, 3, 4. Stop. That one you're at right now. Battlestar Galactica. That's the one. And put in your token and pull. We'll just do like that. It'll almost be like we're doing like a Pilates podcast, but instead of telling people what kind of is Pilates stretching? I don't do Pilates either.
I have no idea, but
so and stretch and pull, and this is the Pilates.
Those
One-Arm Bandit podcast.
Do you know those freaking exercise bikes that come with like a built-in TV and streaming service?
Yes.
That all have workout. Perhaps we should be making a deal with slot machines so that they can have one of those streaming screens on there, and then we can tell them what to do.
God. And we have the commercial, and it's just like an elderly Chinese man, and he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, just pulling up one arm on the slot machine.
Give it another go, bud.
Just pedaling that thing. This is I think, a very exciting idea, and I want to say that I love it, but I want to move on before I try and make a rickshaw joke about the Chinese man.
Okay.
Oh, too late. All right, so...
Yeah. I was about to talk about rickshaws again. So let's move on there. But let's keep talking about the horoscope aspect of this. Are we going to be consulting any mediums, or are we going to, like, I'm pretty sure I can just get the newspaper page out, read, see what it's supposed to, like the general, your day is going to be like, and then I probably can relate that to gambling.
I was going to say, getting the newspaper out seems like the hardest part of that idea now. Do you get the newspaper?
They sell them.
They make them, I guess.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I can acquire a newspaper.
Call me mom, because I don't get it. We have the internet, though. We could just do it on the internet.
Yeah, but those aren't the real horoscopes.
Oh, what if we got... What's that app that's like the one where... The one where you have to know the exact time and location of your birth?
Who knows that?
Not me.
My brain didn't make memories.
Do you know
yet.
how many white women I've dated who were like, I need to know exactly where and when you were born? I was like, I don't know. They're like, ask your mom. I'm like, my mom will probably figure out that this is witchcraft and be mad at me if I ask her. We can't be doing.
You're gonna have to phrase it in such a way that it's like you're filling out a form.
Hey, Mom, was I born at the exact same time as Jesus Christ? No? Well, when was he born and how far off was I? Is it not Christmas?
Yeah, that's one thing they never tell you. What time of day was Christ born?
Midnight, I think. New Year's Eve, right? That's when the calendar rolled over. They had the big ball, and they put it up in the air. They were like, 0 BC. And then ever since, we've had to keep bringing that ball down. The wise men, they saw it, and they put the ball up because it was officially, whoa, we're not in BC anymore. Put the big leaded ball up. And then these the fellas from the Orient were like, hey,
Yeah. I've seen a Millennium crossover, but that's the real trick, is to watch the counter flip all the way back to 0.
Yeah. That Millennium crossover with the X-Files, they don't do TV like that anymore.
Man. And I know I'll never get to see another Millennium, but I could get to see year 0 of a new era, or year 1. Do you start at 0 or 1?
I think what we're going to have to do is get some sort of new Jesus going.
Yeah, that's how we did it last time.
And maybe this is going back to the horoscope idea. So we just, it's witchcraft. Why not just call on Satan? Get that Antichrist out there. We can hit the odometer button on the year of our Lord.
What do you think this one's going to be? We had BC and then AD.
Then TT.
TT?
Tool time!
Oh!
Yeah.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah.
A lot of T's in his name.
Yeah. And time, not even one of them. That's a bonus T.
Yeah. So,
what if his name was Time the Tool?
And he'd pull out his
he just shows up
magic pocket watch and
naked, like kneeling on one knee. Turns around. Come with me if you want to
build a shelf.
All right. Yeah. So that's my idea for a horoscope sports gambling podcast.
I like it. I've got a new idea here, and it's called A Podcast for Babies.
Ooh.
I think there are a lot of podcasts for mothers who have babies, but not nearly enough podcasts just for the babies. Get out of the room, adults. This isn't for you. There are some baby words here that you aren't going to understand.
Yeah. I think that this is a thing that there's definitely a market for that has been untapped.
I mean, every baby has a cell phone now.
We had the idea to come up with, something for teens, and that was rock and roll music. We were like, we'll give you a bunch of songs about fucking, and then we'll give it a descriptive name that makes you very confused about how fucking works. And then we were like, now we need something for tweens. They're not yet teens. And we were like, well, we'll just make it so it's like a bunch of boys with bushy eyebrows that make you wish you knew what fucking was. And then they were like, now we need something for babies.
I'd say we call it rock and roll again because they really like it when you rock them. And they're really good at rolling over.
Yeah.
Not walking yet.
But... Yeah. I mean, I don't think that the teens are saying rock and roll anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we could say roll and rock, but that sounds like a beer.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that beer?
Oh, it sucks. And continues to suck. And there are so many beers now that nobody needs it.
Just like Ben Stiller. Boy, the 90s was an amazing decade. Yeah. What do babies like? I guess this is going to be I mean, we really cannot have our asses out on this one. Like, we have to know what's hot with the babies.
I figure we're going to make up a lot of semi-scientific mumbo jumbo to sell it.
Excellent.
Like they don't. PBS doesn't just make your kid show. You have to have all this research about retention and prove that you're actually teaching something and not just fucking around. But we'll just make that part up and then we'll just fuck around because it's a baby. They can't turn it off.
I know that I see this a lot in modern cartoons, is that like you can get free money to make a cartoon if you call it educational.
Did you learn this from Matthew Lesko? Did Matthew Lesko tell you this?
Did. He came up to me and he had on a suit, but it was covered in a little EI TV rating. And he's like, if it says educational, informational, then you can get a grant from the government.
You can get a government to pay you to put question mark tattoos on your penis.
But that's why so many cartoons are so shitty now, and they're all made in Canada, because America doesn't even have any animators anymore. Like, they've all been outsourced to who knows where at this point. But Canada does, and so a lot of this money that's earmarked for educational animation is made in Canada, and then all the shows are just like, fucking, who knows? It's like a barrel talking to you, but he's like, do you see where the thing went? They all have to have because that's the easiest way to write educational shit, is just for everything to be a mystery. Like, every show is like, where did the thing go? And then kids are like, behind you, dumbass!
Oh, it's behind me?
Oh, it's behind me.
Shit.
Yeah.
Why didn't I look there in the first place? It's right out there in the open.
That counts as education. And I mean, now that I think about it, like, that explains why my math teacher was always like, where are the math problems? Behind you, dumbass!
Well,
And
what do you
that
think about
was my
Schoolhouse
friend's
Rock?
penis. We just thought
Oh
it was
my
a math
God.
problem. Schoolhouse Rock.
Because I still remember a lot of the songs, and I guess it's taught me something, but mostly I think I learned more about music from that show than...
Well, that's interesting. You know, they didn't... I don't know... It seems like they made all of those cartoons all at once, like in the 1970s. It felt like they were all just made in one long...
Yeah, like they're the cartoons
Trucker
stink
speed
of weed,
fueled
but everybody
nightmare.
was on speed making them.
It was like Kerouac. They just banged out all of those cartoons in one afternoon.
They somehow made it all on one typewriter.
It was they just had a long film and they drew every frame of the animation on one long roll of
now
film.
he's climbing up the steps. Now he's gonna sit down and tell his story, man.
Oh man!
Yeah, he's just a bill, but he could be a law.
See, the thing about Interplanet Janet, man, is like she's like a galaxy girl. They stopped making them. It's like, did we stop making history?
I don't know if you can get.
Maybe.
I don't know. Nothing has that. It doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
I think we've lost that history magic. We might be in a new dark ages.
So I feel like really this is something we could do is we could make a podcast where we do new Schoolhouse Rock songs about things that have happened in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
Right?
That sounds like that's a really good idea, but when I came up with podcasts for babies, I thought I could just fart on a microphone for an hour and be done. Just jingle my keys. Go. Wah!
So I'm just this is my idea is like we just gotta come up with a song.
Yeah.
Little blue dress. The little blue dress. You know that president made an awful mess.
And I'm the mess.
I'm the president. I'll shop my wing load all over that dress. But that's not sex. Hang on, let me get the accent back. There we go.
Gee, Mr. President, what am I?
Well, you're a load of human ejaculate there.
Why's everybody making such a big fuss about me?
Because we've turned a simple case of perjury into a moral panic.
Aw, gee.
Don't worry, though, because I'll just tell people that blowjobs aren't sex anymore, and they'll thank me for it. Now you're catching on. This song isn't upbeat enough, but I think we're really getting it.
There's an extended little character bit. We're going to get back to the song part.
Yeah, we're doing a Sprechensang.
Just looking for like something like I'm just a stain.
Yeah,
trying to distract you
that
from capital gain.
But you know I'll never get too far because of Kenneth Starr. All right, so that was.
If I'd found an ovum, you know I could go far.
An ovum. You know what? I'm against sex education now because of that line.
You're welcome.
All right.
Coming around to the right way of thinking. Let them figure it out for themselves.
Is there like a helicopter outside? They're onto us. No, I was hearing like a hum. I thought maybe it was the ghetto bird. So here's my next idea: is give them the boot. What's next for reboots? And this would be like where we talk about, reboots are a burgeoning industry right now. Rebooting things, television, movies. Queen.
Yeah.
They got that high singing guy from American Idol in it now.
Adam Lambert?
Yeah. Did
that really happen? Did they?
I mean,
Yeah.
They're not on tour.
I remember them teasing that for a long time, and then I think
it's just all they do is like they are on the iHeartRadio Music Festival every year, so that they can be like the biggest names in rock and roll. Because otherwise, it'd just be like Maroon 5 every year.
I'm not a fan of Maroon 5. I just know that I've heard a lot of their music without ever being able to place that it's Maroon 5. I never hear a new Maroon 5 song and go, "Oh, that's a new Maroon 5 song." I'm just like, it hits me like white noise, and
They just sound like white Jamiroquai to me.
Okay.
Which is saying something, because I'm pretty sure that Jamiroquai is a white guy. Is he a guy or is it a band? Does it matter? It's like Sade.
Yeah. I remember that one song, Virtual Insanity, and in my head, he continued to wear the big hat for everything. Did he wear that big hat all the time?
I think the hat is Jamiroquai.
Oh, okay. So he's the second famous hat after the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter.
Yeah. And then the tricorner hat. Close third.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Stovepipe, but his time is come and gone.
Those are the two big political hats, I think.
Yeah.
You know what?
Tricorner comes back. It's I see it still today.
Say what you will about our current commander-in-chief. First political hat in over 200 years. No, wait. Stovepipe hat, less than 200. In over 100 years since the last big political hat, right?
When did the Fez come out? Wasn't that a political hat to begin with?
Well, I suppose, yeah. I mean, if you're going to get outside of true politics, and by that I mean American politics.
Yeah.
There's lots, right? You get the big beefeater hat,
you couldn't start a party with that one. I mean, there was just a party about wigs. They were like, "No hats needed. We'll just steal someone else's hair and wear it."
Just snatch that shit in a Kroger parking lot. That's what they were. That's what they were all
That's
about.
our reboot. Let's reboot the wig party.
The wig party. They were just taking their hoop earrings out in the parking lot, just ready to throw down against the
Just got
Republicans.
a big bucket of talcum powder. I'm gonna throw that bitch in and get it good and ready.
I mean, yeah. See, you got a lot of outside of America, there have been other politically charged hats, like the Cossack hat, or the turban. Another one that seemed to get a lot of attention in the last century.
Yeah.
The yarmulke.
Balaclava.
Which political party is the balaclava?
I don't remember.
Was like was it the political party that kidnapped Patty Hearst?
The Symbionese
Liberation Army, yes.
Yeah.
Oh. I never thought I'd be able to remember what it was called, but as soon as you started to say it, I was like, oh yeah, it sounds like the thing from Venom.
Man, what a great film. A few years away from a reboot, but way to bring back how stupid 90s action movies were. Like, it's a comic book movie that does not care about comic book fans, and that's refreshing.
It really is. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like the anti-Rise of Skywalker, which is like the movie that's like, yeah, no, fuck you. But that movie was like, yeah, we're just doing exactly what you would want. Is this what you want, you fucking idiots? The Emperor's back now, I guess.
Yeah.
Venom was like, yeah, no, he lives in San Francisco, and he's doing a very strange American accent. I liked it a lot. I liked Venom.
I enjoyed it thoroughly, but the whole time was talking about how bad it was, but it was bad in a particular way that things aren't bad anymore, and they used to, and it was home.
It was
like,
bad, like how The Crow
food.
is bad.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, well, this is kind of fun. It's such a dumb idea. It's like someone gave some bonehead a bunch of money to make this movie, and it's just clearly some guy's like dumb fantasy. Liked it.
I also like the idea of whoever the master plotter of the Marvel Universe is, seeing that and just cringing and just being discomfited intensely by that movie.
Yeah.
Just because at some point in time he might have to incorporate some of that into his universe.
Yeah, what's that dude's name?
I'm trying to remember which one does it. I know Brian Michael Bendis used to do all the giant events where all the comic books would tie together, but I think it's somebody different who's in charge of the cinematic universe.
Oh, it's Kevin Feige. Feige.
Feige. I have no idea.
And it's spelled like beige, but it's pronounced Feige, I think. But yeah, that's the guy. So glad that we took a moment out to remember Kevin Feige's name.
Yeah. But wouldn't that be the ultimate reboot, to just, like, as they continue their giant conglomerate of boilerplate superhero movies, if we rebooted it, we'd have to, like, change a bunch of stuff. So it's not really a reboot, I guess.
Yeah, but I like the idea of trying to keep Feige on his toes.
Yeah.
We just keep rebooting things, but we go back and like reboot. So whatever like the oldest Marvel IP is, we're like, it's time for a reboot on that, and he's like got all these plates spinning like then we're like, oh, the Fantastic Four are back again, ladies and gentlemen, and this time they're all black. In fact, they're the Wayans brothers. And then he's like trying to explain how they never how the Black Panthers never heard of them before.
Well, they already do that with the Fantastic Four. As I think that is that was the original superhero Marvel comic. They might have had like horror comics or military comics before, but that's their Superman, right? That's the originator of Marvel's.
Is it?
I think it's the oldest one. It's either Spider-Man or Fantastic Four.
Huh. Well, that explains why it's so dumb, I guess. Fang, Foom, really?
He's a big dragon.
He's a big dragon.
You
got a man of science.
He can't fight the mole guy every time.
He's got his family fighting with him. He's got to fight science villains like a dragon.
It's a dragon.
And his name's Fang Foom.
dictator of a Eastern European nation.
Fin Fang Foom had his own team at one point called the Fin Fang Four. I'm not even making that up.
Were there 3 other dragons? Were they all dragons?
No, they were all...
They got Pete's dragon in there. Puff.
Fin Fang 4. The Fin Fang Foom was their leader. And then there was this character named Googam.
Great googly moogly Googam.
So, Electro...
It's just the dude from Spider-Man?
I think maybe a different... I don't know. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The yellow guy with the crisscross hatching.
Yeah. Googam is an alien child. He just looks like a big baby, but he has like a... Kind of looks like he has like one of those flying squirrel suits. He kind of looks like the Thing, but all red. His mouth is like most of his head. and then Gorgilla, which is like a gorilla with a tail.
I don't know. It made me think about a mix between a gorilla and a gorgon. So I was thinking of a gorilla with snake hair.
Yeah, no, this one, I mean, he has like a long tail like a lemur, but then he kind of just looks like a cross between a gorilla and a werewolf.
Okay.
Fuck, what if a werewolf bit a gorilla?
Or then what if a fucking vampire bit your werewolf gorilla?
Oh shit. Lock the doors. Ah. Yeah, so that was my idea for Give Him the Boot.
Well, there's plenty of stuff to reboot out there. I like the Wig Party is the one I want to reboot. I'm
gonna reboot the Bath Party.
I think we need to update Santa Claus. I mean, and now's the time to do it because you don't want to do a rush job at the end of the year and ruin Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be stronger.
Here's what I think we should do. We reboot Santa Claus, but with an older established actor. Maybe like a... Who's getting up there?
Sean Connery.
Maybe. Yeah, I like that.
McKellen? I mean, I'll give you a few different flavors here.
Sir Ian, I could see he's going to be lonely with Picard going on now. But then, surprise, we kill him off at the end of this season. To 2020, Sir Ian, the new, we make a big PR thing out of it. The new Santa Claus is here. It's Ian McKellen. People are like, oh, he's perfect for it. And it's so good to see, like, visibility, gay Santa Claus, finally. And then we kill him off. Oh, my God. Oh, no. What have we done?
We also have to establish that the rules of the Santa Claus with an E don't apply here. That's not how it happens.
Yeah.
You don't take a shithead like Tim Allen, put him in a suit, and he turns into Santa Claus. He paid no dues.
Maybe we do. Maybe we do it that way. I mean, if Disney has the rights to Santa now, we'll play ball.
No, Disney's lawyers just they'll invoke the Santa Claus, but there's no precedent in American courts that.
Hey, well, what if we do it that way? Oh my God, Boxing Day 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Ian McKellen, Santa Claus has passed away. This is a developing story. We'll be back with more as we find out. It looks like he's been killed. It doesn't appear to be a murder. Perhaps just a negligent manslaughter. We're still looking into the clues, but we see there appears to be some sort of there's a burn mark on his Santa Claus suit. It says that it was a laser. A laser has burned Sir Ian McKellen's Santa suit. They say it was a blast from a laser gun. We're looking into it. It looks like it was it was Star-Lord.
Oh,
Chris Pratt, ladies and gentlemen. And as you know, according to the current law set down in the president of
the Santa Claus,
Alan V. Claus. Chris Pratt is the new Santa Claus. Then we got a young Santa Claus. We can do all kinds of stuff with him.
Yeah, there is that.
We have
worry.
him on contract.
You get an old Santa Claus,
Yeah, this is the problem we've had from the very beginning. Is we're just constantly casting old Santas,
and then
you're
just cycling through them.
Yeah,
cycling through them.
It's like buying rescue dogs. Plus, they're old, they're creepy.
And then you got to try to explain to your kids, like, why Santa look different this year?
Why is Santa gross? Why is his breath so bad? Well, because
why is there
Santa's
a yellow ring
person
around Santa's mouth? Why does Santa keep spitting into that Mountain Dew bottle?
What's that fella from Jurassic Park? Remember he was Santa Claus in the Miracle on 34th Street?
Yeah.
His teeth look like Richard Attenborough. His teeth look like baked beans. That ain't no Santa Claus.
Also, his beard's not nearly big enough. When Mara Wilson gives it that little tug, like it's real, it doesn't hang. Like it was like a glorified 5 o'clock shadow. That was the smallest beard I've ever seen on a Santa Claus, and the beard tugging scene doesn't make any sense. That beard.
Yeah, that was a Bob Hoskins as Smee beard, not a Santa Claus beard.
There's nothing to tug there. Like you have to have some flowy head. Like there's got to be something hanging down to your chest to have that scene.
Yeah. Or
poor form, Smee. Poor form.
You got a big set of nuts. Just put those up to your chest. That would work too. Young Santa Claus. They rebooted it. It's still old. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I think that it could sort of be like the Voyages of Sinbad, where we put Santa through his paces, and then you understand where he's coming from.
Mm-hmm. Just like Sinbad. He's tall. He's yellow. He's got a high butt. It's Santa.
And also, let's reboot the 7 Voyages of Sinbad with Sinbad. Let's get him back in movies. What happened to you, Sinbad?
Where you at, Sinbad?
You were, as far as I could tell, a big success. All of your movies were hits, and then all of a sudden you weren't in them ever again.
Great success. All right.
I got another one.
Okay.
And mine is, as we live in Louisville, we're getting close to Derby time. We've got a line on a certain profession that the rest of the world doesn't get to see, but they're very bright and shiny little guys. Jockey Talky.
Jockey Talky.
Yeah, the only time the jockeys get any shine is on Derby Day. And it's usually only one of them that gets spoken to, and he doesn't get to say everything he wants to say because he's crying so much. And I'm pretty intensely interested in what the life of a jockey is like.
Yeah, I'd imagine like you're like, so what's it like winning the Kentucky Derby? And he's like, ting ting,
yeah. He is pretty much just like a bird that lives on top of another guy's head. I guess it's on a horse's head, or
yeah. He's like, no, I'm not a bird. Hello. Do you know any jockeys?
No.
I have a friend who is diminutive, who, when I met them, assumed that they were a jockey just because they lived in Louisville. I don't know why.
Not a jockey.
Not a jockey.
Did you... Like, how embarrassing was this? Did you keep, like, talking about horses and assume that he had knowledge of...
No, I've never admitted to it. And I think that I'm safe because I'm friends with several people who are significantly smaller than average sized, so they'll all just assume that it was them. If they hear this. Oh no, what was I doing? Kind of thought that none of them would think it was them when I said it, but no, I'm probably pretty.
No, I'm not like a huge person, but I'm fairly large, and I don't control my body well. So most really small people avoid me because I'm a hazard.
You just can't help him.
It's like hanging out with me is an obstacle course.
He's farting, just losing control of his body.
He's just spinning.
Just shitting and pissing. Spinning around.
He's just seeing how far he can throw cinder blocks now.
He's spinning around with a cinder block in his hands, and just shit is flying out of his ass.
To be fair, larger people tend to avoid me as well. It's just little guys.
You're like, stand back, I'm in the doo-doo-cathalon.
But I mean, we can. It doesn't have to all be horse talk. We can maybe find out what the nightlife of a jockey is like.
I've heard that a lot of them have anger problems.
I've heard that too, and I've heard they have secret sex clubs, and that's what I want to find out about. Really, this I'm gonna pretend like I'm interested, and we're interviewing them, and they're gonna all be really excited about it's not even horse racing. It's not one of the Triple Crown, and somebody wants to talk to me. But really, I just want to get invited to the Jockey Sex Club.
Hey, listen, about these sex clubs. How big are the horses? Interesting. We're gonna get our ass beat by a jockey. Oh,
they are athletes. They would probably win in a fight with me.
Yeah, so was Dale Earnhardt. What good is that doing?
So that I just want to applaud you because the Dale Earnhardt death is the sports death that we're bringing up on the podcast right now.
Yeah.
Not touching anything else.
Yeah. Let's move on to our audience submission of the week. This week our idea for a podcast comes from Zach. Zach writes in, Wire on the Wire. Members of the band Wire discuss episodes of the HBO cop drama epic The Wire.
Huh.
So I'm just going to look real quick to see who the members of Wire are.
It'd be easy to make a logo for this podcast because it would just be a pink flag with a thin blue line on it.
Yeah. That's true. It says, according to this, the members of Wire are Fin Fang Foom, Gugam, Gilla, and Electro.
Did you say Magilla Gorilla was in there?
Gamilla Gorgilla.
Oh, okay.
Different guy.
That's not just a stage name for Magilla Gorilla, is it?
Mm-mm. This guy has a squid on drums.
Oh, okay. That's a good choice.
Yeah. It's it's a pretty full kit, so you're going to need the extra arms. Yeah, I don't know any of these guys in Wire.
I can't think of a member of Wire off the top of my head.
Now, I'm not trying to just shoot this down immediately, but like, what I do know is that I'm friends with several of the cast members of The Wire. So maybe we could just get like, what's that British guy? Don Cheadle. That's his name, right?
Don Cheadle?
Don Cheadle, that black British guy. Don Cheadle. No? All right. I was just doing that thing where I can't pull the name, so then I just pull a random name, and I thought it was funny because Don Cheadle's not British. He just played a terrible British character in Ocean's 11.
Oh, okay.
Idris Elba.
Yes.
Can't believe I couldn't remember his name since he's like one of my closest friends. And then we could get, McNulty. I'm friends with McNulty, too.
He's also British.
Littlefinger. He's one of my buds.
Bubbles.
Yeah, we'll get him.
I think his name is Andre Royo. Like this is just gonna turn into me trying to remember the cast of The Wire.
Was the guy from Candyman? Was he one of them too? I've never seen The Wire.
There's I remember when I first started watching, like the first couple of episodes, it takes you a while to acclimate yourself to it. But D'Angelo Barksdale, not Avon, is played by the place kicker from The Waterboy, and that was a helpful lifeline to me.
There you go. You could do it.
Yeah. And then he kicks that football so far.
Yeah. So we can get those guys, and then we can just listen to some songs from the band Wire.
Yeah, I think it's The Wire, the band, on Wire, the show, but why can't these things go both ways? Let's set up a table for the band Wire and a table for people from The Wire, and then let's play the feud. Let's
do it. Not really. Let's not do this idea.
No, let's not.
All right, should we go to the Podtron? I don't know. Maybe we will do it. Keep listening till the end, Zach. Let's go to the Podtron though and see what he's got.
All right, come on, Potty.
Potty over here. And of course, the Podtron is an artificial intelligence that tries to synthesize the titles of podcasts from existing popular podcasts. And here we go. We got the printout right in front of us here.
Okay, here's one that's popping out to me. The Thick Podcast.
Ooh.
Normally, I never even considered that a podcast had thickness, but if they do, then truly a thick podcast. You don't want a thin podcast.
The Thick Podcast.
And it is without an E, so it's not like an Alan Thicke podcast or a Robin Thicke podcast.
But it is with a K.
Yeah.
So we're not going to...
No, it's not two C's. But... You know, maybe we should put in parentheses on this one, an E there in case we want to make a Robin Thicke podcast, but also a second C, and then like somehow parenthetically across through our parenthetical E and also the K.
What if we did Thick on Thick? And it was Robin Thicke talking about Alan Thicke. It's like him remembering his father. This could be like a kind of a PR thing for Robin Thicke too, because I think he got canceled or something.
Yeah.
And
his daddy's not here anymore to make it all better.
Oh, well, just remembering my father, Alan Thicke. He was so good. I remember he would always bring me home a candy bar when he was done doing his job hosting America's Funniest Home Videos. We're like, that's Tom Bergeron, Robin Thicke. Did you even know your father? God damn it!
Then we'll smack him around.
The Thicke podcast.
Do you think he was just mad that his dad named him after a really common bird? Do you think he wanted to be a fancy bird?
He was supposed to be named Batman Thicke, but then his father panicked at the last second. He looked at him and he said, "No, this is no Batman.
Maybe the next one.
Maybe the next one will be the Batman. This one is."
You just know when you look in a baby's face whether they're Batman material or Robin material.
He's like, hang on, let me check my pulse. Still alive? This one's not Batman.
He's just freezing every load that he drops for years.
Waiting
just being
for...
like, you never know which one's the Batman load. We got to try them all, honey.
Oh, you never know which one's the Batman load.
Trying to catch magic in a bottle, and so I've been putting them all in bottles, keeping them in the fridge. We have
all right, I've got
going down to the mall to get some more.
Get out of the malt shop. 2 straws, please.
Do you got a suggestion?
I got one here. The Podtron has suggested Hitman in the Woody Show podcast.
Is this a show all about how killing turns people on?
Well, it's. I mean, these are just all it's a string of words here. It says Hitman in the Woody Show podcast. So this could be a podcast called The Woody Show, but there's a Hitman in the Woody Show.
Okay.
This could also just be a podcast where we hit a man in his erect penis. Hello and welcome to... Hey, I'm Johnny Knoxville. This is the Hitman in the Woody podcast.
Man, I don't... Yeah, I'd listen to that podcast. I'd listen to both of them. Because the other one, Hitman in the Woody podcast. We could have like a podcast where all of the... You say you get 10 guests and they're all... They know that one of them is going to die at the end of the podcast, but they don't know which one. That's a lot of tension. But then, I mean, we got to kill somebody.
Yeah. What about this? What if it's like one of those ones with a dual meaning, right? You get like one of those movie titles. It's got a dual meaning. Where it's like, oh, you can take it either way, like cutting class. It's like, yeah, well, they're skipping school, but also, look out, there's a murderer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But this is a game show called Hitman in the Woody, where it's like where you just slap a guy's hard dick. But then in the middle of doing that, a hitman shows up. And then we have to protect him. We're like, hide behind this tree. And he's like, but my penis is sticking out. It's still visible. Like, get that down. He's like, oh, I actually kind of like that. Like, hide that, Woody. So that's how
we're probably gonna have to rubber band it to his leg.
Yeah, but that's where the tension comes in. That's season 1 the whole time, just trying to find something to bind that thing. There's just the sound of like bullets ricocheting. Pew, pew. He's like, they can still see no matter which way I turn. My penis is so hard.
Oh, I'm sure somebody, like a lot of people, have thought of this before, but has anybody ever like gotten their penis stuck in a Chinese finger trap? I mean, you kind of have to have another penis to make it work, but. And then you're like, I want it off. It won't come off. Pull harder.
I thought you were going to ask if anyone has ever had to hide behind a tree with an erection and their penis is giving them away the whole time.
I know that.
Contract killer is attempting to shoot at them.
You're not fooling anybody, Dad.
His dad is the one killing him?
Yeah.
Is it Woody Harrelson? His dad's a hitman? That's how it's Woody. We have Woody Harrelson and we get his dick real hard and then we're just slapping it and then his dad, the famous contract killer, shows up and then we're like, oh shit, we gotta hide you. We can't like put him under the bed. We try and slide him under the bed, but it's like a kickstand, like keeping him, put him behind the telephone pole, but it's like, like ricochets off his dick.
Tries to hide under the covers, but it's a teepee.
And the whole first season, like the people on the Reddit, on the message boards and shit, they're like, why don't they just jerk him off?
He's having one of those painful erections that comes from taking those terrible blue pills.
Those and that
painful
reminds
erection
us
pills.
That our podcast actually is brought to you by Hims.com.
You can't have an erection anymore. Would you like to have one that will never go away?
Listen, we might have made that sound bad, but it's actually pretty cool. Go get some of those. Lie to your doctor. Say, oh, there's nothing wrong with my heart. Give me some of those pills. I'm fucking so much. Then you can be on our new podcast. The what was it? The Hitman and the Woody Show podcast.
Sure. That's what it's called.
I think that actually was what it was called. The Hitman and the Woody Show podcast. Anyway, so that's one option. We also have what was the one that you had from the
I already forgot. I'm looking for it.
We run a tight ship. It's gone.
I forgot how to read. Damn it.
I feel like our whole thing was like a wolf or something, right? Wasn't there a werewolf involved?
Oh, are we going back to the beginning? Okay.
No, I was trying to think of the last one. Was the last one not about a werewolf? We have no idea.
Let's see. Did I get it off this? This always happens. Oh, it was the Thick podcast.
Oh, the Thick podcast.
It's the very first one on the list.
Well.
Yeah, there you go.
So we got the Thick podcast. We got the Hitman and the Woody Show podcast. We got the sports gambling horoscope.
Yeah. We got the podcast for babies.
The Jockey podcast. And the the Reboot Idea podcast. Oh, and the Wire one.
Yeah. All right. And since we don't actually know any jockeys or anybody from the band Wire or the television show The Wire well enough to do a podcast with them tonight.
You don't know. I could probably get Nick Nolte here.
Yeah, I wish he would get Nick Nolte here.
I could get Candyman.
Yeah.
I got to go to the bathroom and go around 5 times.
Okay. Do you think Nick Nolte still has his driver's license, or do you think they took that away years ago?
I mean, he was hitting the bottle pretty hard in season 2. He's like, I'm on a boat now. I'm gonna obey the law. Kind of tried to do it was in between Nick Nolte and Mick Nolte with his accent there.
Well, I mean, both of them have problems with drinking and driving. I've seen 48 Hours. He's just making himself a Boilermaker in his can. Driving around in a convertible.
That's the bad news.
Dropping racial slurs. No, it's both. It's both movies. It's both movies.
It was a golden age for saying slurs while drinking and driving.
All right, we're doing the reboot, but we should reboot Bad News Bears in 48 Hours and just make Walter Matthau be in 48 Hours and Nick Nolte be in the Bad News Bears, and nobody will notice.
The 48 News Bears.
Sounds like a football player. Maybe it's a football movie.
Maybe it is. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I think we got to do the reboots.
We got to come up with the reboots for the bad. Okay.
Maybe we can reboot Babies.
This is so. If you wanna listen to Give 'Em the Boot, what's next for reboots? You can go to patreon.com/we don't have a podcast yet. There you will find all sorts of stuff from us. You can donate to our Patreon page. That just puts a little money in our pocket to pay for all of this expensive podcast equipment that we are currently not putting to use because we still haven't come up with the idea for the podcast.
Yeah, we kept it in the box. We're just using the shit down here.
Yeah, we're on the Snickle Fritz right now. You should see it upstairs. We've got the stuff that the Eagles were using back in the day.
Our podcast is gonna have that Laurel Canyon sound.
Half of it's like just crates full of some sort of powder. We're not sure. Yeah, if you go there and you donate the $5 level, you can. You'll have access to an extra podcast every week. Like this week's one will be the Give 'Em the Boot. What's the next for reboots? Or you can go back and listen to some old ones like the Dear Brooke, our podcast where we write response letters to breakup letters that are all set to inspiring music. So go check that out and. Listen, if you're listening to this and you've made it this far and you don't go to iTunes and leave us a star rating and a review, you're stealing. All right? It's the same thing as stealing. You wouldn't download an endangered animal, would you? No, you'd leave it in the Russian billionaire's private zoo where it belongs.
What Indiana Jones says. It belongs in a Russian millionaire's private zoo.
Just a sad monkey with the face of Paul Giamatti. I gotta save it for the boot. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being with us. It means more to us than it means to you, and we mean that sincerely. Good night.